Ay, ay, ay.
Alicia, get off my back. Alicia, Alicia.
Being your son father, not
Right.
just a daddy, but a father.
Right.
I went in so hard, bro. I went in so hard because I went in so hard to the point where I put them on my wheel. I had a meeting with my kids. I said, how y'all feel if I scoot y'all over? Scoot over a little slide and let somebody else get a little bit up.
Yeah.
And my kids are amazing. They're my best friends. And they was down with it. So I moved a little space over and added her son in on my motherfucking wing. You ain't even my son for real.
Right.
There's a lot of men stepping up to plates that were not meant for them. There's a lot of men stepping up to plates, providing for families that were pre-built. It's like buying those houses that are already put together, those pre-constructed houses. All you gotta do is buy the land, and you just get the house and have it towed to the land. They just drop it off and hook up everything, and boom, that's it. A pre-constructed house is a house that has someone else's designs. A pre-constructed house is a house that someone else decided to put together. We have to stop investing in pre-constructed families. And probably the saddest point in my relationship history um, was when I broke up with a woman that had a child, beautiful young child. She has a bright future, unlike her mother, but she has a very bright future. And I did so much for this child that, and I don't regret it, and I would do it again if I was in the same position. God forbid. But I treated that child like she was mine. I didn't have her in my will, right? But I treated that child like she was mine. The birthdays and Christmas and just random days. I'm not one of those guys that's like, all right, gifts are only given on holidays, Christmas, birthdays, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. I'm not one of those guys. Gifts should be given throughout the year, and I invested a lot of my time and energy showing that little girl that she was special in somebody's eyes. Maybe not her father's, right? Maybe not her mother's. I don't know. Allegedly, hypothetically speaking. But she was special in someone's eyes. I remember going Christmas shopping. Boy, I went to at least 7 stores. Like literally, I went to this little shopping center, right? Um, this little town center, right? And I'm talking about I went to at least 7 stores. Just random stores buying stuff, buying stuff, buying stuff. She might like this, she might like this, she might like this, she might like that. She might like this, she might like none of this stuff. But at least she's gonna see when Christmas comes and she sees all of her name, she sees her names on all of these gifts, right? And she see 10 boxes underneath the Christmas tree. She's gonna feel special. Like I said, you know how children are. She might not like none of those gifts. She might like a gift for a minute. She might like a gift for a day. She might like a gift for a week. Then she might like a different gift that someone else got her. But she knows when it's time for Christmas, when she's there for an hour and a half, opening up 10 gifts that I got her. One or two from my mom and one from my dad. She's going to know, but most importantly, she's going to feel love. So I understand investing a lot into children that aren't yours. You may not be their dad by blood, but you're their father. through that woman.
You know what I mean?
Wow, yeah, that has to take a toll.
I put her in my wheel as well too.
Yeah.
You was just my girlfriend. You ain't even my wife.
I hope that still ain't dead.
And that's the thing. A lot of women want wifey material. A lot of women want the privileges of being a wife. A lot of women want to be treated like a wife. A lot of women want the benefits of being a wife, and they're just a girlfriend. And a lot of women have, oh man, this is what a man should be doing mentality. A lot of women have the privilege mentality, the pick me mentality, the why not me mentality of their expectations from a man. When's the last time you seen a video of a woman making a video of what she brings to the relationship? When's the last time you seen a video of a woman saying what she's gonna do for her boyfriend? When's the last time you seen a video of a woman saying, all right, this is what I'm gonna do for my boyfriend, this is what I'm gonna do for my husband? Because a girlfriend should not be treated like a wife. And a lot of the things that these women are asking for on social media are things you should do for your wife. A girlfriend is someone that's like, all right, we're dating, right? We're getting to know one another, right? I like you, you like me, right? High school stuff. Stuff you had in 7th, 8th, 9th grade, 10th grade, in high school, middle school, elementary school. In elementary school, we all had girlfriends. But nowadays, realistically, these girlfriends want you to treat them like a wife. You know how many times I heard a woman say, oh, you gotta provide, you gotta provide, you gotta provide. I don't even know if this is gonna last. I don't see a future in you. I doubt we're gonna get married, but I have to provide. I have to pay your bills. Those are things that your husband should be doing. If these aren't things that your husband should be doing, these are things your daddy should be doing. But let's pull down the layers of this onion, right? Pause. A lot of women don't have no goals or ambitions, or a lot of women are bums. A lot of women don't have nothing going for them. A lot of women just have a high school diploma. They never went to college. They never furthered their education. They never went to a tech school, trade school. A lot of women put themselves in bad situations, and they're just looking for a man to get them a way out. Let me repeat that again. A lot of women put themselves in bad situations, and they're really just looking for a way out. And I'm going to tell you something. I've met more independent women in America than I have overseas. I know a lot of people in this quote unquote passport bro movement with these weirdos and pedos and some of everything else are like, oh man, go overseas. They're submissive. They're this. They're that. Yeah, they might be that, but some of them might be that, but at what cost? I've met men that have bought women land and houses in Asia, where it's 51%, where the woman, if things go south, takes it all. And I've met a gentleman that was in that same exact situation in Thailand. He didn't have a problem with it, but I had a problem with it for him. A lot of these women, especially in Asian countries and some of these other countries where you really can't own anything, you can't be the majority owner, they're winning because if they know if things go south, that property is in her name. She's 51, you're 49. What she say goes. She signed everything off to herself. She took your name off of the documents. You took a loss. A lot of these women are playing the long game, but back to the point. I've met more women that said I didn't need a man in America. I've met more women that were saying I am independent. I can do it by myself. I don't need this. I love a woman to say I don't need you. That turns me. If a woman tells me I don't need you, if I hear a woman say I don't need you, that turns it. It does something to me. Pause. I love that energy. You know what that means? She has a grind to her. She has goals, and not just some woman, some random woman like my ex, but her goals that's not working towards the goals. She has goals that she's actively working towards. He has a business. She has 2 jobs, maybe 3 jobs. She may work on a weekend. A woman that has a grind, a get money grind, is my type of woman. And you don't find those women overseas. And I'm going to make another YouTube channel today or tomorrow. And I'm going to talk about the failures of passport rules, the failures of the movement, right? Why some of us should not claim passport rules, because it's tying us to pedos and weirdos and homos. Because trust me, you only hear about the stuff that makes the news. What about the stuff that didn't make the news?
And
Yeah, man.
I hope
Man,
that's delayed.
one time the dude told me, one time the son said, "You ain't my daddy." Now that's one thing you don't say to a man
Right.
that ain't your daddy. Don't
Right.
remind him that
Yeah.
you ain't his daddy. You ain't.
And this is the thing where I feel that, God forbid this ever happens, but this is the thing that I feel, if I were to ever get in a relationship with a woman with a child again, I would want that child to be young in age, right? A child that's 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, right? A young adult, a teenager, they know who their father is, right? You come into a woman's life and she got a child that's 16 years old, a junior in high school, he knows who his daddy is, right? Let's be honest. He knows who his father is, right? Whether his father's in his life or not, he knows who his father is, right? Well, let me break it down to you. He knows you're not his father. And I'm not promoting dating single mothers, but I will say this. When you enter a child's life at 6 years old, 5 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, you can kind of steer them in any direction. You can tell them the poodle, the pit bull, the Rottweiler is their father. You can tell it. Listen, you can tell a child anything. They don't know any better, right? So if you were to dabble in dating single mothers, if I was to give advice, that advice would be to date a woman who has a child under 8 years old, under 7 years old, because she can go from knowing who her daddy is to next month, this is your real dad, and she's not going to know any difference, right? She's really not going to know any difference, especially if he's not living in the household and a full-time 100% she see everyday father. And that's always been my biggest fear, right? I'm going to be honest with you. That's always been my biggest fear. My biggest fear is, every man's biggest fear on that token is one day a woman says to you, it's it. It's over. And you're getting your heart broke twice. Trust me, I've been through it. Because it's like 2 knives going through your heart at one time. One knife is enough, but 2. But one of my biggest fears is next to that. A child saying, "You're not my father." You're trying to discipline a child. You're trying to correct a child. You're trying to tell the child right from wrong. And they're going to say, "Hey, Chris, you're not my father. You're not my daddy. I don't got to listen to you. You're not my real daddy." That child stays with you. You take care of that child, right? You're financially invested in that child. Your electricity bill went up. Your water bill went up, right? Your rent went up. Your mortgage went up because you got to get a 2 or 3 bedroom or a 2 or 3 bedroom house, or everything went up. Your time went up, right? The time with the child went up. Your personal time went down. Because guess what? They have football practice, baseball practice, soccer practice, cheerleading practice, swimming lessons, whatever the case may be. That's time that you or their mother is taken away from, 1, yourselves, and 2, that relationship. The grocery bill went up. Listen, I don't suggest men even consider for 1 second dating single mothers. But if you're going to have that thought, I'm going to be coming out with something next year that's going to give you the tips and tricks, guidance, motivation suggestions, things to do, maybe things not to do for going down that lane, because it's not for everyone. I don't suggest it for anyone, but it's not for everyone. But I specifically don't suggest it for people that don't have no kid.
You know what I'm saying? Don't remind me that. I took the role of you ain't his daddy. You know what I'm saying? Don't remind me that. I took the
Don't remind me of that. Till we meet